After Varus fell, and the Germanic forest swallowed 3 Roman legions in a cruel ambush orchestrated by Arminius, Rome was plunged into panic. Whispers spoke of barbarians pouring like a flood through the mountain passes, and there was only one man to stop them. His name was Germanicus. Ave, Caesar. Those who are about to die salute you. It was the early spring of 15 AD. The wind was still sharp when Germanicus crossed the Rhine with 4 legions and 10,000 auxiliaries. He planned to crush the Germanic coalition by a series of attacks, destroying the Germanic tribes one by one. He entered the territory of the Chatti. Their villages burned as Roman iron crushed resistance beneath the Eagle. At the same time, Aulus Caecina also made his crossing, cutting through Cherushi lands and striking deep into Marsi territory, leaving ruin in his wake. Towns torched, men butchered, women weeping in the ashes. Then Germanicus was informed that Segestes, Rome's ally, father to Thusnelda, and father-in-law to the rebel Arminius, was trapped. Segestes was besieged in his fort for daring to steal back his own daughter, who carried Arminius's child. By April, Germanicus joined Caecina and came with fire in his heart and steel in his hand to lift the siege and break Arminius. Arminius knew that he couldn't face the Roman legions in this position and sounded the retreat. Germanicus tore the pregnant Thusnelda from her people and sent her to Ravenna. That act, taking the wife of the rebel chieftain and sending her to Roman soil, enraged the tribal elites across Germania. After this act, more and more Germanic warriors joined Arminius. The time had come to strike again. In summer, Germanicus split his army into 3 parts and marched on the Bructeri, allies to Arminius and part of his rebel web. The Bructeri did not wait to be caught. They torched their own lands, scorched the fields, and fled east. But the Roman jaws were closing. Arminius slipped through their fingers again and vanished into the black woods to the east. Enraged, Germanicus decided to chase him. The Roman legions were pushed into the cursed place of the Teutoburg forest, where Varus and 3 Roman legions had been destroyed. Skulls nailed to trees, bones broken and bleached, the lost legions of Varus, their remnants strewn like old meat for the wolves. Germanicus ordered the dead to be buried. He was the first to start digging. Arminius was near, watching the Romans bury their dead, hoping that this brutal scene would instill fear into them. But the Roman cavalry pushed ahead, chasing the barbarians, wanting to capture Arminius, dead or alive.
Sir, I think they're luring us into a trap.
And we're falling for it.
Arminius's line appeared like demons on an open field. The Roman riders slammed into them.
To glory! Form a shield wall! Let them advance! Fire at will!
Germanicus sent his light auxiliary troops to support the cavalry in front. A savage war cry echoed through the flanks, and the barbarians stormed in from both sides. The Romans were caught in an ambush, driven south towards the swamp.
Cut them down!
Arminius hoped to destroy the Roman cavalry and set an ambush for the rest of the legion. The Romans held their line as best they could, conducting a fighting retreat and suffering minimal losses. Germanicus heard the clash ahead and brought his men forward, the ground trembling beneath their march. He ordered his legions in the front to form a line and leave small gaps for the retreating cavalry. Soon, the Roman cavalry burst from the woods, battered and bloodied, and joined their brothers. Behind them came Arminius with his warriors. Trees echoed with the clash of blades and the screams of dying men. Germanicus stood his ground, forming his line among the trees. For over an hour, the battle raged. Slowly, with discipline and grim resolve, the legions spread their wings, locked shields, and bled the enemy. Arminius pulled back his warriors. Both armies watched each other, unwilling to renew the fight.
Fall back!
Arminius sounded the retreat and vanished into the woods. Germanicus knew that following them would lead to a long winter campaign and ordered the legions to return to their winter quarters. The Roman army split at the river Ems. Germanicus took the northern route, downriver with the ships and the cavalry under Albinovanus. Caecina led the rest of the legions up the Ems, seeking to reach the well-known path by the Lippe River. Arminius knew that the Romans planned to cross the long bridges, a perfect place to ambush the legions and destroy them. He gathered the tribes for one more battle.